I'm calling Parks and Recreation Committee a special session for the City of Bisbee, County of Cochise, State of Arizona, on Monday, May 23rd at 5:35 in Toryville. I'm Karen Cummins, I'm present. Sarah Curtis? Here. Jane Gaffer is excused, I believe. Deborah Young?
Here.
Bill Bailey?
Here.
Mel Solid is,
Absent.
maybe he'll come. And
Sweet.
Matt Gurney.
Present.
All right, so, do you have any new business? I don't think I have any
No,
new
there is
business.
not.
So, right on to old, this could be quick. This could be
It might be.
All right, so did you have a chance to look at costs at all for splash pads?
We have been able to start a little bit, because it's,
Oh, I'm sorry,
Has-
I have to do this.
Oh, thank you.
I just have to.
oh, okay. But we haven't been able to put a whole lot of time on it with everything else that
Sure.
we've been having going.
Budget.
But roughly, we found out that cost is around $65,000.
65,000?
Yeah,
And-
between, what was the?
Commercial grade.
Commercial
This-
grade,
This is to put in a new one?
a new one, and preferably probably at the Vista Park.
Yeah, which does make sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this would be something that we
Oh,
would
good.
definitely have to budget for, and even more likely get a grant for.
And
So-
maybe that is something that, because we've had trouble in the past looking for grants for improvements to the old pool.
Gotcha.
Okay, 65,000, yeah, roof done. And then, so I'm sure you know that the county health department is telling us that they won't grandfather us into our pump
Yes.
filtration issue. That seems very unfair.
Do you-
Well, we
you wanna-
can't, we
We
can't
can't
have that
talk
on
about
there,
that?
we can't talk about that right
Oh, isn't it kind of related to this question?
now.
Pool update.
No.
See, yeah, I never got this agenda from Lorena, our communication, I don't know what's going on.
I didn't get anything from Lorena either. I didn't get
I'll-
the agenda.
I'll address that.
And I asked her twice for an agenda, so I don't know if somehow my emails are not getting through or,
I'll ask
Okay.
her.
because yeah,
Okay,
okay.
so tell me more about the splash pad.
It's very custom. You have to choose everything that you want on it to get a price. So you have to know what size it is you want. You have to know everything to how you want the water to go, how much water you want to use in the area that
How
it's
many
in.
jets, the height of jets, yeah.
Yeah, you
all
have
of
to
that
figure out
stuff.
all that. So it would be something that if we are getting a grant that we want, then that would be when we would want to invest a bunch of time into figuring out exactly what size we want, what we want, what we want it to look like. Do we want it to regenerate through the system? Do we want it to, when it's done with that water, to irrigate the rest of the vista?
Roses or,
Yeah,
whatever.
there's a lot of stuff to figure out. It's not, yeah, so we'd have to really tune in to figure out exactly if we'd have to either have the money in the budget or a grant that we know we got approved in order to put that much time and energy into that.
Wouldn't there be because I was a contractor and we always worked on plans.
Mhm.
So is there somebody who puts out 5 or 10 generic plans and we look at those and we say, oh, that's cool, we want this, and then.
Yeah, something like that. Well, you can, there's a lot of, right now there's a lot, because splash pads are getting big, there's a lot of companies that sell them. So we would kind of go through and see what we want to do.
Specifically.
Yeah, specifically.
One of the best things I think is we could pick a spot where we would like it to be. And I think what we have researched is you got flow through and recirculating, what Matt mentioned. Recirculating is where the water that gets used will go back into the ground and it can be used for irrigation or
Right.
something else, so we don't have chemicals or whatnot. Also, we can get the splash pad so it's motion activated or something, so we'd set it up for time. So if nobody's there, it's not used or anything. So then the kids could show up, they play, and if it's not used, it gets shut off. And then the water that drains down would irrigate Vista or the Rose Garden or, wherever we where we put it is probably one of the most important things we could decide
Yeah.
if we want to get this process going.
That's a.
So really not recirculated as far as using it again,
Yes, you
splashing
can.
down.
You don't have to have the chemicals at that point, and it's just less equipment involved with reusing that water and capturing it, and then you still lose a lot of water just to
The air.
the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, because once, some of these, once, it sprays up, it hits the ground, goes into the drains, and then it goes through a filtration system, and it goes into a storage tank underground, and then gets pumped back up, and sprays and all that stuff.
So like if we put it down by like the Vista where the rose garden is, that could be a dual purpose or something, because it would increase the humidity for that whole area or whatnot too, and you could expand the garden or whatnot, but we could basically say the water loss that's coming out of this is
It's
good for
helping.
the area.
It's
Yeah.
multiple
Yeah.
use.
Yes, exactly.
Being used.
And that's gonna be our best, one of our best
And we would
sells.
decide how big they have all of it.
Yeah, we'd have to figure out, how big we're going.
Maybe we can start with something even like smaller, medium, just a couple things, and with the ability to expand it eventually or something too.
Yeah, like if we wanted to do like a small thing, it's probably gonna be less than 65,000.
Sure, yeah.
But that's a median ballpark.
Mhm. But they're really popular in Tucson, and I think Sierra Vista has one.
They have one
And you
small.
don't have to have a lifeguard.
Yes.
No
No.
supervision at all, and the
No.
kids are just over there screaming and having fun. So that's kind of neat. And they, they love it.
And then with their liability
I guess.
insurance through the city in case some
Yeah.
kid
But it's not
cracks his head open or
dangerous,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not dangerous.
Yeah.
No, that's one of the things they try and sell is the safety involved with it.
Because
It's
sometimes the
safer.
water, you don't have to have the ones that have water coming up from the bottom, right? They can just be coming from the top.
Yeah, we could pick out whatever.
Yeah,
you
it's-
know.
They have little jets that squirt up, or they
I
have.
bet those really evaporate,
good.
yeah.
Another thing we'd have to do if, hey, we decide as the committee, hey, we want to put it in on the Vista, we'd have to we'd have to have like a meeting, invite the neighbors on there, get approval from neighbors, because, it's not that we just
Not
add,
everyone's gonna love the
Yeah.
idea.
It's gonna be really.
so.
Not any more than it already is down there, probably, I would think.
Yeah, and just a seasonal thing too.
And then
Increase
just
the value of their
the
homes,
times
yes.
when it's open, people are gonna be concerned about that because of the kids screaming maybe.
Yeah.
And little kids scream in the park all the time. In the park next to me, I don't know what they're doing, but they scream a lot.
It's a terrible.
It's all
it's
talking,
terrible,
it's
yeah.
all talking.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
terrible, I hate it.
Yeah, it's a certain age group, it's like they're always screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt and I can both attest to that.
Yeah.
2.5-year-old, 2-year-old.
In doing the research, have you guys gotten any input from other people in the community besides this group or?
Not outside of the city.
I've talked to different people and they think it's a great idea.
People say that, until it comes down to in my neighborhood.
But the baby pool, who really does want to swim in the baby pool?
Well, originally, what I think I've heard and found out is that the baby pool used to be a jacuzzi back in the day.
Oh.
It wasn't for a baby pool, it was a jacuzzi.
It's deep enough? I've never been in the baby pool.
It's about that deep.
Yeah.
just like 2
In the
feet.
middle, it's probably about,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it used to
Wow.
Right, well, they're not safe at all, baby pools are, and they're.
They're nasty. Who wants to even touch them? Yeah.
But it's ready to go?
I wish a hot tub.
You should? Yeah,
be. So,
So what's the next
To
step?
ask.
that's up to, I rightly don't know, if we wanna try and, I doubt it's gonna get approved to go into the budget, just to put it, add it to the budget without any grant or anything. If we had a grant, if somebody found a grant to do that,
But, in grant cycles, it would be at least a year before,
oh, yeah, yeah, there's nothing,
even
yeah.
if we knew a grant to write.
Yeah, and it's not even, the budget's already, pretty much done for 2023, for 22, 23, so we wouldn't even be able to do anything right now for a whole year.
Do you guys have a grant writer for the city?
We have,
Volunteer.
we have one volunteer and then another volunteer that might he just, said that he would, volunteer to do grant writing, but he hasn't done anything yet. But they usually only do grants.
So
I
you
don't
don't,
know if they've found any grants. We've gotten the grants, or, and then they've done the grants.
do you subscribe to a database?
No, we don't have anything.
Because there's databases that you pay for where you can search and like, I want funding to do X, Y, and Z. And then it'll give you a list of 4 or 5 grants. But
Yeah,
if
no,
you
I
don't,
never heard of that.
if you're not hiring a grant writer, then you can't.
No, they have not hired a grant writer.
No, but, I mean, we're not opposed to doing grants ourselves as far as that goes, it's just finding time.
Yeah, we don't have the time.
In fact, he just did one
Well, I just did the application,
application.
and it took me 3 weeks.
It's very time consuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about this? How about the next time we meet up, Matt and I find some spots where we think could be good places for splash pads where it would, possibly work with the irrigation or something, and then we can decide between you guys where that would be. But once we have the spot, then we can go to companies and be like, can you give an estimate for this size and this area? And they'll be able to actually tell us, all the drawing, all that type of stuff, information. Give us an idea at least. We'll probably have to invest some if we're gonna get them to design something actually, but we should be able to get a ballpark.
Yeah, get a basic
Yeah,
Well, thank you for looking into that.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, anything else on splash pads? Update on pool and hiring of guards for the summer? It's going, Joelle said, well, there's 3 kid guards and 6 adults, is that right?
We have total of, including the adults guards, we have 14.
Wow.
Pretty awesome.
So,
You've hired 14?
and 3 of them should know by mid to end of this week whether they finished their testing. But the rest of them are done, good to go.
That's great.
So, yep.
Feel
So-
super open.
So we should have the hours that we spoke about. Those should be the hours, since you have enough guards.
Yeah, it's posted online.
8:30 to 12 for lap, 12:30 to.
1 to 4:30.
We did have 12:30 at one point, but
No.
we've got to give them a lunch break, so.
Yeah.
It's 8:30 to 12, 1 to 4:30 is open swim. And that's 7 days a week.
It's wonderful.
Okay, so you're not, before we were closed on Monday.
Yes, that's because we didn't have enough people.
Great.
So,
So Josh said that the water's about 75, so we still have a few more days to get up to even better. But I'm really worried about this big pipe, but I guess we can't talk about that.
Well, can you give us a status of the facility at this point?
That's approved.
That's an update, yeah.
and I mean, update on pool. So this is the update on pool. Yeah, we do have to, we have to expand the pipe that does the recirculation, of the pool. We were told that by the county health inspector.
So to increase the amount of water
That
is.
circulates. Yeah, they have to, I don't know, he wants a certain amount of volume to circulate in an hour or whatnot,
Yeah, so
or in
many
a half hour.
gallons, so many gallons per hour.
Yes, and what we have is not, it's smaller pipe that won't meet that.
But
those standards.
5 years ago, it was okay, right?
It was a different health inspector.
That is so unfair. I mean, really,
Yeah.
it should be, maybe we need to sue him, take him to court. What can we do? Because that is just,
Not much.
$100,000 is,
That has to be done before the pool can open?
No.
Oh,
No, he said we're good for this year, but in order to open next year, that has to be done.
So that means
We have to cut our new deck.
you can't put it outside and go around.
We still would have to cut the deck.
Just to get access to tap into that.
Yep.
And then something about the drain in the deep end too, is that an issue?
You say anything to you about
I didn't, no, Josh didn't say anything, did you?
Well,
Josh,
Rob
something?
has sent an email to the Friends of the Bisbee Pool saying that that could be an issue too. And that would be, you know, digging out the deep end or something, I don't know.
I haven't heard anything about that.
Well, there must be some state requirements. How can just an inspector, right?
And he is
Automatically
going,
say this
he's
is
going
what-
by the state requirements.
So
We
maybe,
have been-
maybe the other one didn't, who knows? Or maybe it's changed.
What it was is the previous guy grandfathered our pool into it, but this inspector said, no, there's no such thing, you can't do that legally. So he said, no, you have to be up to par.
This is that same guy that shut down the farmer's market and pissed everybody.
So,
Well, if he's going by the law, we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so it might be that if we do that, we might have to, we might have to, or might want to upgrade the pump at the same time. That's expensive. We don't necessarily want to do that, but it could, if we do the pipe, it could mess up the pump. Because it can't handle that much water.
Well, then that
I don't know.
would depend on, I mean, it seems like we would want to have that done before we would talk about a splash pad.
Right,
Sure.
That
Take
would
care of the
have to-
stuff we got.
Well, it depends. I mean, if we get a grant, then, I mean, we can, I mean.
It's
it doesn't
easier to
matter.
get grants for new stuff
yeah,
than
Yeah.
to get grants to fix something you already have.
yeah.
I was
Everybody-
thinking in our budget,
Right,
if
but
we were trying to.
everybody wants to fund like something new and
Well,
exciting.
sure.
But
They don't
yeah,
wanna fund something that's like maintenance.
yeah.
I understand.
Like you said, Sarah, yeah, if we have it in our budget, then, I mean, that would come first. Yeah, so.
Okay.
We will look into finding out what that will cost.
So that recirculation, is that a health issue, or is that, what does
I
that
think so, I
pertain
think it has something to do with that,
to?
yeah.
Cleanliness of the water?
Cleaning it in a certain amount of time.
But, you know, we're always in line with all of our numbers, that's what's so
Oh,
maddening.
yeah.
So, but we don't have to worry about it right now. We'll go through this pool season and then start working on it after the pool season, and start looking into it.
Yeah, yeah, ugh, so we're talking about, swimming lessons.
Yes.
That would be, I think, really help us in the future with guards.
Yes, we have
Yeah.
one of our new guards, has been a lifeguard since she was 15 years old. And she's been on the East
It doesn't
Coast.
tell me anything if I don't know how old she is. She might be 17.
He's
16
Well, I'm
43
getting
or
there.
45.
Oh, okay.
She's
Thank you.
43. And she come from the East Coast, and she's
Yeah.
done, she used to, you know, she trained even train lifeguards and train and do, school, swim lessons and everything, so she's done it all.
Water
As far as
aerobics,
water.
swim lessons, yeah.
So, we're looking to, get her certs back up to where they need to be, because they've all lapsed. And then we'll look into doing swim lessons, she'll be doing that.
Great, great. Yeah, the Tucson pools half of them aren't opening this year because they can't find guards. They're down to 80 guards, they usually have, they've been, 200.
Really?
And
Wow.
they can't find them. They used to
Yeah,
pay
it's-
double minimum wage, back in the day, and now they're paying 15, and kids would rather work in McDonald's, I guess, and make 16.
What are the lifeguards getting based on scale or something?
No, most of all the lifeguards are at minimum wage,
Which is,
$12.80. And then, we have a pool manager, and he's getting paid 14. So we do have a pool manager this year,
Yeah,
possibly 2, yes.
She did that.
Oh, okay,
wonderful.
so we'll have 2 that, and then,
That can be there when the kids are there,
yeah.
that's what's good.
so we, have a handle on everything, a mature look on things.
Yes, yes. Any improvements in, like, shower heads or anything like that? They're pretty awful. They
Yeah.
just shoot on you, it actually hurts.
Well, they adjust, and that's one thing Josh had,
I specifically asked Josh, and he said that he thought they should be replaced.
I think they're frozen, because you can move them, but it still hurts when they come out.
I asked Josh and he said they were fine.
Oh,
Well,
he told
probably
me.
didn't take a
replace them.
shower. I'll bet he didn't take a shower.
Because they are adjustable, so they actually spray.
But they don't. I mean, they used to, but I think they're so corroded. But maybe you replace them.
We'll make sure you
Yeah.
look
I
at
got it
that.
written
Yeah.
down. Either way, we can pull them off and just set them down in some
yeah,
Some
and
cola
that's-
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, seal and break it
We
off.
tried that, right, and it did help, yeah.
For,
So.
yeah, for a couple weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
With our hard butter. it's-
The hard water, totally.
It's tough, right,
Yeah.
to have,
So,
Everyone's
Two I can donate,
appliances.
two shower heads.
Yeah. So any other update on the pool? You got the tarps replaced, the blue tarps all around the pool?
They've got them all straightened up and
Yeah, they're
all tied down and everything around that area, so. Yeah,
And
it's looking good. They got the flags across and getting everything set up. We only saw a brief today, but
Yeah.
so the covers, so now I have experience with those covers. Somebody measured wrong, they're too small. We had to get in the pool or have somebody hold us so that we could try to walk them up the side of the pool, and it just, now I see why kids don't want to put the covers on, but like at the end of September, it really would have helped because of the
keeping the heat in.
cooler nights, yeah.
Right now,
Yeah, we could probably pick things up, but the pool looks great.
yep,
what day is it actually going to open? Saturday?
Friday.
Friday?
Friday.
This Friday.
Yep,
Cool.
Are there gonna be passes?
same as last year.
Good, okay.
And if you have leftover passes from last year, they still work for this year.
Okay, but we still have to buy them at City Hall?
Yep.
Okay. Are they for sale now?
Yep.
And I'm making.
You guys are on it, it's great.
Is there anything that the pool needs?
New pipe?
Is it, I meant like smaller stuff.
I'm trying to think. One thing that the Boys and Girls Club had donated life jackets years ago, and they're all weathered, so they're really bad shape. So that might be something that, I don't know, 10 of them, that might be good to have, because really those ones should probably start getting chucked.
So who uses those? Anybody?
Anybody that doesn't know how to swim.
They're
So,
allowed?
so they're sized, various sizes. So
Yeah, I
the
believe
little
they're,
kid
the ones that are there are all like smaller.
Little kids.
For kids, yeah,
For
and
kids.
that's what they're for. So, but yeah, I mean, trying to think what else.
Well, Bisbee Vogue is dedicated to, making sure that Higgins Hill Park has what they want. So I was thinking if there were some smaller things, we could certainly ask Bisbee Vogue if they wanted to donate.
Gotcha.
Did all the aerobics equipment stay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
there's,
it's good.
there's quite a few.
Yep.
But I think there's a lot of interest. I think there's somebody else that might be willing to teach too.
What the yoga or the
Aerobics.
aerobics? Yeah, and Jess, which is the new lady that's coming in, she also does aerobics as well.
Oh, that'd be great.
So she said she'd be willing to probably do
Because
the
I
classes.
think, I think a lot of people don't want to be jammed in close with COVID still about.
Yeah.
So if we gave them more room or more classes, that might
Yep.
be a good thing. Great, sounds good to me. I'll be there on Friday.
8:30.
Yeah?
Yes.
Get your wetsuit out.
That's right, that's it, I've done that, I've swum in the wetsuit for Bisbee Pool before. When it's 68, yeah. Anything else on the pools? Pool? So baby pool will open, and are they gonna be open the whole time that the pool is open, or?
You
Yes.
just gotta put a lock on it right now, that's the last thing.
Yeah, that's one thing we have to get is that kid safety lock that used to be on there. It got broke, I guess, last year or the year before, I can't remember. So, we're gonna get that replaced.
And parents will have to be in there with them,
Yeah,
so it doesn't require the extra guard to be over there.
Yeah, not just drop your kids off.
Right, okay. Update on gates for City Park?
so, this is one thing I thought of. Instead of building a gate, there was somebody that could build a gate, and it was.
That was Frank with Peyton's husband. Frank, right?
How does it, guy,
Yeah. He gave his price. He gave me a price. He said, well, he said, I went out there and looked at it, and he said, 2,500 or so, you know.
So one thing I was thinking, the purpose of the gate is to keep people from driving in, correct? What if we put a ballard, instead of having a whole gate system, just put a ballard in the middle, that's removable, that we can take out and everything, fairly easy, that we can put a lock on it, and we don't have to spend a whole bunch of money on putting in a gate.
What's a ballard?
Tell me what a ballad looks like.
It's a steel
Ornate,
post
kinda.
that's like painted yellow or has something like that.
I was gonna
Or you
say,
could get.
But doesn't it have to have something on the other side to keep, I don't understand.
well, they couldn't drive through because that.
No, you put it right in the middle.
Oh, you just remove it.
Yeah, you
I
pull it
see.
out, yep, yeah. We have, right at the corner of Brewery and Howell, right there's that big steel pole right there in the corner by the sidewalk. It used to be painted yellow, it needs to be painted again, but, that's about, just a piece of steel pipe that's filled with concrete.
Yeah, and then people couldn't run into the gates.
Can
and
you
ruin
lift
them.
it up?
Yeah, this one wouldn't be filled with concrete, this would just be steel.
I was gonna say.
I couldn't move it.
No, it'll be to where, parks employees can.
And you could have a locking pin.
Yeah, we'll put one of our.
That's a
city
good
blocks
idea,
on it.
yeah. Got to
That
solve
way,
it
I mean,
anyway.
it's-
You're not trying to keep people out, you're
Nope.
just trying to keep,
Yeah,
Yeah, that seems like,
Yeah,
we
that's
don't
right.
need to vote on that, you can just
yeah,
do that, right?
okay.
That seems
Yeah,
like a
no,
good
that
idea.
sounds-
and actually, it's very in line with, like, the Vista, I know it's different areas, but as far as the old time, if you go to the Vista in any of the areas, you walk around, you see the poles cut off, they had those same kind of ballards at the entrance to the park,
Yeah.
everywhere too, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, and
I-
cheap.
I've got,
Inexpensive.
I was at the library, last month for some time, looking at pictures of Jason. He showed me pictures of the Vista from back in its heyday, and the whole Vista, the lower Vista, was completely fenced in. The whole thing was fenced in, and then it had ballards on the corners, in each corner, and then I think in the middle by the rose garden. And the two lower sidewalks that come in, like the one that we just rebuilt, re-poured and everything, it had harbor going across it with vegetation growing
Oh,
over it and
nice.
everything. And where that big tree is in the middle, there was a big gazebo, a big one, big gazebo in that whole circle before those shuffleboard concrete was there. It
Was that the dance pavilion maybe?
Yeah.
It was great looking. I'm like, man, what happened? It looked, I mean, not that it's horrible now, but it was very nice. They-
The
they
Bell's
did-
Dodge money went away is what happened.
Probably,
Well, just,
but I mean,
community dances, things like that.
yeah, I think it would be a neat deal to try and do some of those things. Obviously, we wouldn't be able to do everything because it's expensive.
We
but-
want to get that kiosk in first. We're still working on that.
Yeah. So anyways, we kind of get off subject there.
That's okay.
For that part too, weren't we talking about the stucco on the walls and?
That's right. Yeah, that's
Yes.
the second.
Repair.
Yes.
some
Needs
repair.
redone.
What's the status of that?
I think we added that to the budget.
Yeah, it was budgeted.
Okay.
We need to go out for,
So that won't happen till after July, sometime after July.
Yeah, I just walked by it last week and, it looks preppy.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You've refastened the railing there, but that side is kind of the premier, you know, because the stairway up to
Yeah,
Timbe and stuff up there.
so we want to get it done, you know, we have to work around monsoon season now, so.
I think inside there's a big hunk out somewhere, I saw the other day.
On the stage there.
Maybe, yeah.
On the stage?
I'm thinking on the wall that goes up, what is the Taylor?
Yes.
That, well, I think there's kind of a big hunk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the roof?
No, no, just on the
Yeah,
wall.
the roof, we do have to redo that roof as well.
By the-
On the shell, Tom.
To the right of the bleachers, as you're looking at the bleachers, I think, okay.
So that, all of that is in the budget,
I
next year's
believe
budget?
so. The roof is real tiny, it doesn't require much
We'll be able to take care of that with our guys. We got a pro roofer
for the
on
roof.
staff, yeah.
Good, good. Anything else about City Park? All right, signage for parks.
So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
last time we talked about getting signs for all the parks.
Yeah.
Just for names.
Mhm.
So there's a couple different options we could do. There's actually some, I think we talked about it briefly then. We have a catalog where they actually have some really nice, like just little simple sign. It'll say the name of the park and put the ballards down. There's several ways you want to do it, I guess. We could,
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
I was gonna say, present you guys with a couple of different sign options. There's so many.
Yeah, that's,
So,
As far as
right,
what
you
we
should
do.
choose a few.
Sierra Vista, they use, sorry,
Oh, I was just thinking, when we do look at it, the easier to read, I feel like is better.
and we want it to look
And
nice.
simple.
The signage, as I drive by the pit, they've got a sign there, but it's just, you know, the sign as you come into Bisbee from Naco, what is it, the road is Naco Road, and then you see the park for the first time, that's kind of old fashioned is what I'm saying. And it's
Yeah.
a neat looking sign, but that sign out there for the pit, just, I think, that's a pitiful sign. I mean,
yeah.
they could do something a little more ornate, it doesn't have to be that expensive.
I would say something clean and simple would be nice.
Yeah, simple,
That's
but-
what I want.
Usually
What-
like-
But it looks nice. You
Yeah, like
Not
one,
too-
one example is,
Industrial.
the city of Sierra Vista has concrete signs. Like it's made out of concrete and it's stamped with the name and stuff, but, I mean, there's just different, all kinds of different ideas that we could come up with.
Yeah, if you give us some suggestions.
We'll bring that next time.
So,
So,
Yeah, something that's not too modern and not too old fashioned, I guess, right? That fits
yeah,
in
and some
all
of the signs that
parks.
you've seen on like a catalog, they made it look old fashioned.
But then.
I don't like old fashioned.
We like clean.
Right, well, we
Well, you
want
want it
super
readable,
modern
but you don't want it
obviously.
industrial.
I mean,
Are you
the
lady
bill,
going for industrial here?
There's something between old fashioned and industrial.
Thank you, I think.
the structure looks old fashioned.
Yeah, I don't like, okay.
Okay.
We can look at, it. we need to.
Yeah, we need to look at it.
Yeah, because we all have different ideas.
Yeah, but 4 or 5 suggestions probably,
Yeah, don't give
Yeah,
us too
it's
too
many.
many choices.
Yeah.
Stump
I'll
us.
give you 2 choices.
Three. So we don't have to feel like we vote against each other.
We'll do it, we'll do it.
Yeah, okay.
So what's the timeline on that?
We should be able to get that, we just weren't able to get it done for this one.
Oh, yeah, so June 14th,
We're
is our
having another
next
meeting?
meeting. Well, we often do it in the summer because there's a lot going on.
Oh,
I think that one was canceled, is being canceled in June.
Well, it says here next scheduled regular meeting.
Yeah,
And
I know
then I
that.
told Lorena that I would be gone,
Mhm.
and then we looked at the 7th, which would be okay with me, but, you
That
know, I
wasn't
didn't
working
work
out.
for
No.
the meeting space.
Yeah, and I think I had something going on around something, I can't remember exactly. Lorena said, oh, you have something going on. I'm like, okay.
So then, are we talking July or August or?
July, I think is the one
Sometime in
after.
July?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be here the 14th.
Okay.
So we'll, be able to make a decision on signs at the next meeting?
I'll say why not.
yeah, we should have a couple options for you guys to look at, and we'll have a
Oh,
price on those
And it
three.
also depends on the expense, because we have to budget for it too,
Right.
so.
So if you could email some pictures before we have a meeting,
Yeah.
then that would help too.
That's doable.
Yeah.
And, I'm sorry, Kaylin, but just since our next meeting is in July, so for the splash pad, could we maybe make some decisions by that next meeting on where we might place the splash pad? I know if I have something on my calendar, I'll get things done, and if I don't, then I'll like, oh, next time.
So,
We can offer up ideas at the next meeting.
Matt and I will scope it out for the areas that we think are best, but you guys are more welcome to look around too or whatnot and be like, hey, what about this spot or?
And we're not in necessarily a hurry in a way, because we can't do anything till the next budget anyways.
But if we don't come up with a
Yes.
site and come up with an estimate, we won't
I understand that,
have
but,
the
yeah.
information to write a grant, which wouldn't be funded for a year anyway,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, most grants they want to see your plan already ready
Right.
to go.
Yeah.
well, should we talk about it a little bit more? Because Vista does seem like, or I don't know, is there a place, we don't have a place in San Jose, do we?
No,
That the city owns,
Annex.
the annex, but
but is that still school property?
yes.
It is, but they're letting Jason
It's
do
wonderful.
yeah
They
design.
haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, over there. Well,
They haven't done in the field.
yeah,
They haven't done anything, sorry.
it may be an option. That could be a
Yeah.
possibility.
I like the idea of Vista Park, but just
I
because
think
it
that's
gets
a
a
good-
lot of people and
I think,
attention,
yeah.
but.
Yeah, and it's already, because I think Andy was talking about it up by the playground, that new playground at one time, which slopes, whereas by the rose garden, it's already really flat, so we have to level it.
Great place for residual water.
Right, yeah. So that seems pretty doable.
So Upper Vista.
No.
No,
lower.
by the
Lower
rose
by the
garden.
rose garden,
Okay,
like
gotcha,
you
yeah.
had suggested, I think that's probably the best.
Somewhere in that area.
Okay, next time we go to the farmer's market,
Okay,
scope
so,
it out.
yeah. Yeah, and go check out, now we can talk about the rose garden, okay. Okay, benches, I think we're down to just the one. The high school's not gonna make us another one, the price went way up, so we're just sticking with one.
Okay,
And, wherever you think is the best spot, wherever,
we'll
where it
leave
is
it where it
now,
is for now.
it's fine. And then a little word about the roses. I think the deer are getting at them, but, you know, they'll be okay. I think we may have lost a few through the
What,
freeze.
get that, what's that soap that I was telling you
Safer,
about?
safer, isn't it? Isn't it? So,
No, it's the spring.
Irish
Oh,
Spring.
Irish Spring.
Oh yeah.
I was told that.
I always heard Lifebuoy, but,
That
Really
you
strong.
cut it up in chunks and spread it around and they won't go.
well, you find a
But they-
motel and go get.
Oh,
the
I've heard
motel
that too. In
size.
fact, I used that. I'm not sure if it worked though.
Well,
I
I've
took
seen
chalk.
people at a
I put it in
restaurant.
bags and hung it around my stuff.
Somebody at a restaurant put it on the tables and they thought it was gonna keep the flies away.
No, but we have someone in town that has used them and they haven't.
So even if you put it on the ground, then they won't do the
Correct.
tops? Okay,
No.
I'm.
Or you could spread it on, no, you don't wanna
I-
do that.
No, the folklore I know, I like to call them old husband tales, is that you hang them from strings, like from the
Yeah.
bushes
The
or
whole
from the
bar.
trees.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Don't you shop them?
you want the little motel-sized bars. And you do string through them and then you hang them.
so could we hang them on the fence or we'd have to hang them right on the rose bushes, you think?
Are the deer jumping over that little fence and getting
Yeah,
in
they
it?
have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, I'd hang
Well,
them on
there's
rose bushes then.
Yeah.
They jump over my fence down at Sunset Acres, and I've got a 4-foot fence. And I ordered 20 little net bags on Amazon
Mhm.
and got the bars. I actually started using the bars for soap too, and they seem to be fine. But I chopped them up
The
with
deers will leave you
a
alone
cheese
out
thing.
Oh, like
cheese.
grated it?
Yeah, and then I put in a little, and I'm not sure if they worked or not, I still have deer, but I did hang around.
You
I
tried.
never
You tried.
saw what happened, no, I don't know why.
The other thing
Forgot about
is
that
mountain
part.
lion urine. You can buy that and then you spray it
That's what my little brother did after they took all his grapes out.
around. Should have done it before they took the grapes.
Yeah, that's what he was thinking too.
And it's expensive, that mountain lion.
I
urine.
bet, yeah.
Yeah. I've tried the coyote urine, it didn't work for whatever I was trying to keep away, but, I'll try to find some, for bloomers can try to do that. But I'm gonna fertilize this, week, Josh is gonna bring the hoses for me. So we'll do that and just hope that they survive, they look okay except a few.
Yeah, there's a couple that look
Well,
pretty bad.
I brought some and then the next night it froze. We planted them and then the next night it froze and the guide said, oh yeah, no problem in Bisbee, so we didn't worry about it. And those were the
So much
third.
for that guy.
Roses for you?
Yeah, well, just because they were tender and new.
Oh, they hadn't been.
From the
They've
greenhouse
been
and
in
stuff.
Tucson.
Okay.
So we may have lost
I
those.
tried to get rid of mine.
No, once they're established, I think they're fine. And then I'm gonna fertilize Grassy Park too, this week. And Josh is gonna help me with that.
Excellent.
It looks like we've got through our agenda. Any member comments?
Yes, I wonder if I could, Sarah and I were distributing these things at the farmer's market, for 2 farmer's market, this on the city, Warren, the City Beautiful. And I don't know, you guys have seen it, some,
Yeah.
Sarah has.
I've seen it because I
You've seen it,
came to you.
and then did you see it?
I came to
you
you,
know,
see
it's
that.
That's
this
kind
was-
of
we
cute,
have a
it's
new
just a
one.
little
Oh, yeah.
Bill,
thing we were handing
But
out.
this isn't true, it wasn't the largest city west of St. Louis, all the way to California.
That's what more than one,
Exactly.
I just got that from history,
It's not,
and they've said that.
You
So
do?
which was the largest city?
not Bisbee. Something else, Denver or something like that. Anyway, is this for fundraising efforts or?
I didn't make this stuff up. This is all, I got it from more than one source.
Well, if you got it from the internet, it must be true.
Yeah. No, but it was
Wikipedia.
things that were written 30 years ago,
Yeah.
and they said, maybe they just BS.
Oh, everybody says that.
I think they
But,
probably do, yeah.
So, fundraising, how, is this for
we
fundraising?
don't
Is
do
that what you're-
fundraising.
We haven't, I don't know, Sarah and I talked about how, we don't know jack about fundraising, and we just thought, well, we'll go door to door and talk to people and see if they give us some money. But we need more of a formal approach. Maybe somebody here on this committee would know what that would be to
Well,
fundraise.
when we fundraised for the pool, we just asked people for money, basically, so.
You what?
When we raised money for Friends of the Pool, all we did was ask people for money.
And then
You had addresses
did you go out there in a
and
group
stuff.
and go to canvas a neighborhood? See,
I went to Kiwanis and I went to Rotary, but we didn't get that much money from them.
I think
It was
people
mostly
would.
individuals.
Yeah, I think individuals would give money if
Yeah.
they knew
yeah.
about it. If we
So, and then we didn't wanna.
put it in the paper maybe or something.
Yeah, yeah, we,
But you
yeah.
would have to have some way of collecting it. One person is, or
So-
you would have to say, do this and send it here, or I don't know.
Send
It'd have to be
in
more-
$100 or
You need
$50 to this.
A post office box.
That's what we did. Well, they sent it to me.
Hold on, huh?
And I gathered it and I took it to the city. And the city put it in a dedicated
Go back down
fund
center.
for the pool.
Turn down the-
Okay,
It's still
so,
there.
so how did you do it through an ad in the paper or something?
Yeah, Laura Swan gave us huge aid.
Oh, see, thank you for telling me that. I'll go to appeal.
Right, you
Yeah,
could
you
put
could
something like this in.
Write an article about it. And
Yeah,
then
no,
say, we're
Fred-
raising money and.
Fred Miller was gonna write an article, but I don't know if he was gonna, we're all just kind of doing it on our own, so I don't know if he was gonna say,
Well,
we need money, send it.
A lot of
to
people
the-
read the Bisbee Wire, I would think that,
He said
Yeah,
he was gonna
right.
write something up
Yeah.
with this.
Oh, thanks, yeah.
but you need to have the bottom line that says, please donate.
Yeah, I don't know how to go about that.
Send your money to post office box.
Please.
If you're willing to collect the money from your post office box,
Yeah,
we gave it to the city, we trusted the city, they put it in a dedicated, for the pool. and it stayed in there, and it's still in there, except for what we use every summer.
As far as we
And
know.
it- I believe it.
I'm just teasing.
Oh,
Well, let me talk to Fred and see, maybe he could, because he was gonna write something and put it in the wire, but also something else, was he put it in the observer?
but where does the money needs to go to, not to the city, it needs to go to the guy, the page guy?
Mike Page.
Mike Page?
So then you'd have to keep.
Well, we don't want it, yeah,
We
we
don't
want it to
want
go
it
to
to
him
go to
eventually, but we don't want it just to be sent to him.
Right, once you get the
Arbitrarily.
$10,000, you,
Yeah, we've already given five.
so he's
Close
starting
to
on it?
five. No, he started it,
But he's not
he's
gonna
he's
put it
slow
up.
as molasses, but,
He's not gonna put it up until he sees,
no, he's got 4,500 to set the thing, but he's very slow in setting the thing, and he's got more ornate stuff to do, there'll be more money to, so far, we've got $7,000, you know.
oh,
$5,000 from Bisbee Foundation and $2,000 from Freeport Memorial.
oh.
So we're well on the way, maybe another 4 or 5.
I wish we could get something from him, just so we would know how much more we need. But I know you're having a hard time, I mean, I don't mean you should do it, but.
I'm having a little hard time with it because he's
Yes. I mean,
Evasive.
He's a little prickly when you push him too much. He's an artist, and that's what Doug Dunn has told me. I'm thinking, yeah, right, well,
And Ortiz, not Mr. Ortiz.
Well,
anyway, okay, sorry.
Okay, anybody else have member comments? Stuff going on in the parks? Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I guess I just would like to encourage you guys to keep going. I know that it's been a steep incline, you know, because you're both new in the position and getting going. And we appreciate what you guys have been doing. But we're gonna keep pushing you to keep going, so.
yeah,
We have
this is small potatoes from what we've been doing.
We have so many good ideas, though, don't you think?
Oh, we do as well.
I appreciate Public Works. I know you guys have an old city to take care of. There's lots going on.
Steve said this is the most grants and anything he's ever seen us going after. We have our fire suppression system, trying to replace the sewer laterals.
A lot.
Yeah, police station needs a new evidence room redone, termites.
Oh,
We can just keep going.
Yeah,
It's
it's always something.
slow. But hey, that's why we're here though. And we definitely encourage you guys to keep pushing us and whatnot. That's,
Yeah, thank you. So do you guys have any other comments?
Yeah, just comments that the city is being donated, Bisbee Vogue is donating 4 large, like, tents. They're the big, like, circus ones in a way that go up in the middle, and there's 2 that are 20 by 20, and
she ended up getting 3 20 by 20 and 1 40 by 20.
okay.
And it was high jump rental, so they went out of business. That's where we got most of our stuff from for 4th of July. And they would do it for theirs, but they're donating it to the city. We're gonna store them and we'll have them available for venues for
Yeah,
rental.
so we've
For
set
the-
them
So
up.
we
they're
renting
the
them
tents
out.
that Bisbee Vogue rented.
Yep, and they're gonna, and that's what we're working out. We're gonna set them up for the next couple of years for, in exchange for the donation. And we can use it for other city functions, or if other people wanna rent it, or.
Yeah, they'll be available for rent.
Oh,
And we could use them for the fundraiser for the historic Warren, you know, this.
Yeah.
What is that?
Why not?
It hasn't been planned yet.
Okay.
We don't know. When we start, we've already, Matthew and I, with Doug Gunn, we've laid out where we want the thing. So, where it was avoiding the landscape water sprinklers and stuff to get around that. So.
Which I'm gonna try and talk to APS on that electrical too.
Oh, yeah, great, yeah.
So anyways, but that's,
So from the staff, what else is going on?
everything, I mean, we're paving, roads right now. The guys are having a lot of problems with vandalism in the parks and the bathrooms.
Yeah, the porta potty in Garfield was vandalized. We called it, but it's fixed now, it's a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago.
So we're in the middle of trying to switch over Garfield Park restrooms, toilets to the stainless steel toilets, so we don't get them broken anymore.
Grassy. What is it? Garfield?
Okay, sorry, grassy. We do have, in the ARPA funds, 2 gazebo-like structures for the Vista Park that we gotta figure out where we wanna put as well.
So it's permanent?
Yes.
So fixing the old gazebo or?
No, these are new ones. They're not gazebos, they're shade structures for a picnic bench, like the rest of the parks have. But 2, and we're getting 2 more. We're allotted 2 more for Vista Park.
Oh, that'll be nice.
And where are you thinking of putting them?
Somewhere, I've thought of Lower Vista right now, but we haven't gotten to that point. Also, we allotted, we have money to build an actual bathroom for Garfield Park. So not having a board lot there anymore, but actually building one.
Where would you put it?
Where? I'm thinking in the northeast corner. There's nothing in that far corner back over there. If the sewer line allows for that.
So it's by that cement,
Culvert.
Culvert, yeah.
Is there a shade structure and picnic table by the playground equipment in Middle Vista?
What's that?
In Middle Vista, where the new playground equipment is and the bocce balls, is there a shade structure and a picnic table?
There's 2 of them up there.
Okay.
Maybe even 3. Yeah, I think there's 3.
A lot of workmen use that porta potty.
Yeah.
They'll park there,
Yeah.
So when, as you say, the bathroom, like Grassy Park and stuff, been broken into, are they broken into at night, or are they closed at night, or what?
They close at night. We close at night.
What time do they close? 10?
Around 7.
And they still break into them during?
Well, they don't break into them. They
They
will do them.
vandalize them during?
Yeah, before. during the day or
Really?
whatnot.
People that need them the most too, for the most part. That's
What it seems like, so.
doesn't make sense.
But
Yeah.
And any vandalism at the pool or at Higgins?
yes, we did have on the men's sink countertop got broken, so we just went and got that today. So we'll be replacing that and getting it done before the pool opens. So
Yeah, there's seriously somebody in town, or some people with some anger issues or
Oh,
something.
they're setting fires too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those getting out of our comments, so we need to own it in.
So, anything else, Logan, do you have anything else?
I don't know.
So future items for discussion, I think we kind of, I guess, a little bit more on splash pad,
Pick a spot.
splash pad spot.
Location.
Yeah. And, oh, the signage choices,
3 of them, and we'll email you guys those different options.
great.
And number 3, are they just going to
The bollards,
take? We don't have to
Yes.
talk about that.
No.
Okay.
No.
we're good. Yeah, good, looks like we're getting in here under an hour. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I motion to
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
You love
Yeah, I do, 6:29. I was hoping that the gavel would be back.
Good meeting.